This is a reading of Wally Wood's issue number 1 of Witzend. Witzend is a publication which Wally Wood created starting in the summer of 1966. His goal was to free himself from the constraints of the mainstream comic book industry. Unfortunately, he was ahead of his time in going the indie route. It just became too difficult, too financially difficult, too logistically difficult for him to continue. And after 15 issues, the effort petered out. In this first issue, he expresses a lot of idealism that his friends, major players in the industry, Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, Harvey Kurtzman, Dan Atkins, and others, will be contributing original work. There's also a real sense in here of the times, this early 60s. For instance, this story, Sinner. It almost reads now like a cliche of the idealism of the hippies. And the text is really more extensive than the pictures, which I don't think people today would be have the patience to read through. There's even some poetry. This story here is one by Wally Wood, which he contributed, and it really is a typical Wally Wood story using his shadow technique, which he's known for. And Wood, without question, is the master of creating sexy, alluring women. Men, for him, drive the story, and women are basically helpless sex objects. I think in this regard, Wally Wood really was a product of his time, the 1950s, somebody who is profoundly alienated from his emotional life. And at the end here, though, is, I think, what is probably Wood's best drawing, certainly my favorite. This is Joan of Arc. Wally Wood had wanted to create a Sunday comic strip, one large panel with text on some historical scene. I think it would have been a fantastic idea, but the newspapers didn't go for it, so he turned these into posters, which he has for sale. And Frank Frazetta contributed a drawing to this first issue. So there you have it. This is issue number 1 of Witzend by Wally Wood, the summer of 1966.